welcome everyone this evening. It's fantastic after a relaxing, warm summer to always come to the Guernsey presentation and see so many friends we haven't seen for some months. The commencement of every season brings with it a unique balance of excitement, opportunity and apprehension. And this year, as we do every year, we welcome a new group of players and their family and friends to the Sydney Swans for the very first time. And we look forward to the contribution they will make to our club and to our culture, and the things that they'll do to put their mark on this football club and to write their own pages in our book of history. And to the parents and friends of those players joining an AFL list for the first time, you are in the infancy of what I know will be an incredibly exciting journey for you. And I think it will almost certainly prove to be one of the most exciting journeys of your life. But remember, it may be short, it may be long. Regardless, I hope that your time with the club is rewarding and joyful, and largely it will be what you make of it. However, as a club, we strive to make you feel welcome and at ease. We hope that you can enjoy the ride as much as possible. As always at these events, the room is brimming with VIPs. And to all of the VIPs who are out the front said, make sure you mention me. I hope I get to you. I'm going to try. I can't mention everybody, but I want to acknowledge a few special people. And shortly, I'll speak about the life of Michael Willacy. When this club needed support more than it has ever needed it in its now 145-year history, people such as Basil Sellers and Peter Wynant stood tall. And they did this standing shoulder to shoulder with Mike Willacy. And I'd like to pass a very warm welcome to our patrons, Peter Wynant and Basil Sellers, who are here this evening. Welcome to you. Both Peter and Basil do amazing things for this club, more than anybody in this room probably really realises. Extending the list of off-field royalty here tonight, I welcome the former chairman of a lazy 20 years, Richard Collis and wife Susie. Welcome to you, Richard and Susie. And the Sydney Swans Foundation chairman, Peter Ivany, who's in his last days before being sacked from the SCG Trust. Sorry, hang on. Just joking, Peter. Welcome to you. Peter has a very big job ahead of him in raising $55 million for our new facilities. And we already have an amazing number of financial pledges of significance from many people in the room this evening, and I thank those people who've already made pledges. It is important because infrastructure is so critical to this club. The Royal Hall of Industries will house our senior program, but it is also equally fundamental to the work we do in the community, including the Go Foundation, the Clontarf Foundation, Australian Red Cross, our partnership with the New South Wales Swifts, and ultimately it's a very important asset to facilitate our entry into the AFLW competition in the not too distant future. And even when the Hall of Industries is operational and the adjacent Lakeside Oval is complete in a couple of months, the challenges to deliver facilities does not end. And we have great challenges delivering floodlit ovals that can support the exponential growth of AFL in New South Wales, in particular for the QBE Sydney Swans Academy, boys and girls. It's very important that we can find places for our kids to train and play. I'm delighted that the Honourable Gabrielle Upton has taken time out from electioneering. I'm not sure if you've started officially electioneering yet, Minister, but welcome and thank you very much for coming. Of course, Minister for Environment, Local Government and Heritage, Gabrielle has been instrumental in assisting us in building the facilities, particularly for our community programs. Also here this evening is Matt Crocker, representing the Premier's office. Matt's a great supporter of the club. He does many things to help us. It's fantastic having someone that we can talk to in Macquarie Street that really makes things happen and makes this state work the way it does so amazingly well. I would like to acknowledge Team of the Century member Tony Morwood. And Tony, many of you will know, is moving to greener pastures after 15 years of incredibly loyal and important service to our administration. And Tony's done amazing things, particularly in Melbourne, building on our amazing support in Melbourne with the South Melbourne faithful. They're incredibly important to us. And so, Tony, in all of your future endeavours, thank you. And you might leave, but you never get away from us. So, thank you. Tony wrote that, by the way. No, sir. Moving on field, we have Blood's legend, Peter Bedford, and it's always great to see you here, Wills. You're a great character, and we really appreciate that you always take time to come to these functions. Unfortunately, fellow greats Bobby Skilton, Johnny Heriot and Barry Round had to send their apologies, and as did Paul Kelly, owing to the unexpected passing of his father-in-law, Glenn. So we think of all those guys who aren't here, but thank them for their support. Welcome to all of the Premiership players and coaches here this evening. I'm particularly excited that so many of our rampaging 2012 Premiership team are here. What a win it was. We know how hard it is to beat a Victorian-based team such as Hawthorn on their own deck. It's great having you here, guys. You're always welcome. It's fantastic. Now, just to our new players, and it's important that, just a quick message to you, that as players, you share your experiences and your successes and your failures generously with those close to you. Many people, your family, your friends, junior coaches, have played an important role in you getting here this evening. And it's not an easy journey for you, and it wouldn't have been possible without the support of many people. At our club, it's our job to do everything possible to assist you to achieve your full potential, and hopefully that is more than you've ever dreamed of. And we strive to provide you with every opportunity, resource and encouragement to maximise your career as a professional footballer. Please remember, you represent this club 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Remember that. Represent us with pride, humility, enthusiasm and ambition. At the beginning of a new season, I always ask myself, what are we all about? And the answer is that we're about people. And all of you here tonight are our people. And it's about developing lives, making them better, making people happier, and making our 1.2 million supporters proud of what we do. But what we stand for as a club can only have meaning if it's more than just winning football games and filling cabinets with silverware. But make no mistake, and this is incredibly important, and I say this every year, it's incredibly important to understand that our core business is winning football games. And if we lose sight of this, we've failed. And as long as I'm here, we won't lose sight of that. However, our core purpose is making our people successful and getting the very best out of every individual, moulding their individual brilliance into team success. And our core is to make our supporters proud and leveraging our profile in the community as a club to make the world a better, happier place. All footy seasons have their ups and downs. To our players, coaches and all football staff, give it everything you've got, play your role with distinction, celebrate the wins, big or small, analyse the losses, learn, get better, be the best version of yourself and as a team you can be. And that's all we can expect. And a new season brings freshness and in some ways a blank canvas. We need to move forward from last year with optimism and really put our best into the future. The very nature of being one of the great football clubs in the country is we bring together so many different people, and that's what makes the club great. It is so many different people. Players come and go, and they pass the baton to the next generation, and we witness as a tribe the ups and downs in everyone's life. We see people having the joy of children, grandchildren, marriage, divorce, business success, personal success, failure, sickness, injury, and sadly death. And that brings me to Michael Willisey. And Mike always had impeccable timing, even timing his death to be on the eve of the season launch. He was always a showman. Over his 55-year association with the club, Mike played many roles with passion, commitment and conviction. He played for the South Melbourne Reserves, was a part owner who saved the club from oblivion. He was president, life member and club patron. And as many of you remember, in 2015, in this very room, he was inducted onto the Swans Heritage List, along with fellow true believers John Geraghty, Craig Kimberley, Basil Sellers and Peter Wynett. And apart from his unique pioneering skills as a journalist, Mike had a deep love for the Sydney Swans. And he maintained our passion right up until his death last week, aged 76. And we pay our deepest respects to his family and to his memory. And I can tell you there will be a large contingent from the club at his funeral on Friday at St Mary's. And I know that Michael was so proud of this club, and I still remember the smile on his face when he joined the team singing the song in the rooms at the SCG after a big win in 2017. It's one of the privileges of being in my position, you get to see these things. And I can tell you, Mike could not believe that his beloved club, when back in 1988 was operating out of facilities that most amateur clubs would have rejected, that one day we would occupy a building such as the Royal Hall of Industries, a most magnificent landmark and grand building in Driver Avenue. It's a landmark and tangible statement that his quest and the quest of others to save South Melbourne was such a rousing success, and the fact that the club is now the most supported sporting club in Australia and will be housed in an iconic building in our iconic city is testament to that. The ABC program Australian Story followed Mike's journey recently dealing with throat cancer. And Mike undertook this fight with great humour and determination. And he said in the program that two of his big fears were ending up in hell, which I can only presume involve living eternity in the Collingwood cheer squad, and a fear of losing his trademark voice. And I think if you look around this room tonight, you can see that whilst Mike is no longer with us in the flesh, he certainly hasn't lost his voice, because it continues in everything that he's achieved. His vision lives on in all of us, in everything that this club stands for. I think it's fitting that Mike's vision and commitment to rebuilding a club over his 55-year association will be immortalised in bricks and mortar in a building that symbolises the Sydney Swans is here to stay. The Hall of Industries will be a building used 365 days a year, enjoyed by many thousands of people, professional footballers, men and women, the excited girls and boys of our academies, and the school programs, and of course the many fans that will pass through its doors. Very few of the people who entered the doors of the new facilities will have ever had the privilege of meeting Mike Willesee. However, they will all benefit from his vision alongside that of Basil Sellers, Peter Wynett, Richard Collis, just to name a few. And I just ask you and leave you with this: in the years ahead, when you do pass the Royal Hall of Industries or the SCG or Lakeside Oval in South Melbourne, I think that you should think of the efforts of people like Mike Willesee and think of his voice singing "Cheer, cheer the red and the white." And now, just in conclusion, I'd like everyone, if you could please be upstanding and give a round of applause to recognise Mike Willesee's life and contribution to the Sydney Swans. Right.